Welcome, everyone, to the Firing the Man podcast. On today's episode, we interview Michael Sene, who is the Director of Sales at Deliverr. Deliverr is a 3PL service that specializes in fulfillment for channels like Amazon, eBay, Walmart, Shopify, and Wish. This is part 2 of our 3PL series, as Ken and I are on the hunt for a new 3PL provider. Ken, we just got finished recording that episode, and I have to say I was impressed with Michael and what he had to say about Deliverr. What did you think?
Yeah, absolutely. As you mentioned, David, we're kind of this is episode 2 in a series of finding a 3PL, and Michael, he's an expert in logistics and 3PL. Been with Deliverr for a while, and he was just kind of covering some of Deliverr's, what sets them apart from the rest, which the audience on this show, you're going to want to find out, their seamless setup, 2-day fast badges. They have, I think he said 45 warehouses and then direct shipments, just tons of stuff. So it was a great episode. He covered lots of 3PL, terms and, what everybody's looking for right now for 3PLs. So yeah, great show.
Exactly. One thing that stood out to me was their very high transparency on pricing, as well as things that they're doing to help sellers increase conversion. And as a person that split tests literally everything, that really resonated with me. So I'm not going to spoil it at the beginning of the episode, but check out this episode. I'm sure you're going to love it. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad to be on.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, a little bit about myself. I actually came from a media ad sales background for almost a decade, actually, prior to coming to Deliverr a little over a year ago. And I switched into the fulfillment e-commerce space, mostly due to Deliverr's ability not only to deliver things in 2 days, day or less, but also we have a huge emphasis on getting more sales through using those fast tag features on other channels. And we're doing a lot of cool stuff with enhancing ads to get you more purchases by promoting things like 2-day and next day shipping. And so those are some of the things that stood out for me. But I've been with Deliverr for a little over a year and a half now. And I oversee our fulfillment specialist team. It's about 20 people who help onboard a lot of our merchants, and we work across multiple channels. So they're equipped with dealing with anything from Amazon to Shopify to Walmart, you name it. And so that's a little bit about myself right now here at Deliverr, and we're excited to continue growing and expanding. We're a little over 3 years old now. So
very nice. Now, this is part 2 of our third-party logistics series, episode 38, titled Finding a Third-Party Logistics Company for Amazon Fulfillment. Ken and I searched the internet, reached into our Rolodex and other people in the e-commerce industry and asked, who would you recommend for a 3PL service? And now this is part 2 where we're talking to a 3PL company. And so what we'd like to do today is lay out some of the questions that we would ask a third-party logistics company, and our goal is to learn more about Deliverr and how they may complement our business. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Awesome. So I think a good place to start is, what is 3PL?
Yeah, 3PL is a third-party logistics firm, and most folks, I guess the most commonly used fulfillment service for pretty much anyone probably listening to this podcast is FBA. But outside of FBA, you're usually using any kind of third-party logistics firm. In traditional third-party logistics firms, you're usually centralized in 1 or 2 locations and fulfilling your packages across the country, right? And I think when you look at FBA, what they've innovated on that over the last decade or more is having multiple warehouses, and that's kind of been the big thing over the last several years, is how do you enable any merchant to have that kind of fulfillment service where you can get lower rates by having less ground or less distance that those packages are traveling, similar to how FBA does that with their low prices and fast fulfillment. So, but overall, third-party logistics firm basically typically handles anything from fulfillment, pick, pack, returns, a variety of things, custom boxes, customizations, kitting, bundling, storage, things like that.
Nice. Okay. So Michael, Now, how are orders processed on the deliverer side? So, like for my business, for example, I have 4 or 5 sales channels for each brand, and I have a Sellbrite, which is an order aggregator. Does Deliverr sync with those, or is it manual, or can you explain that process?
Yeah, that's a great question. You can actually integrate in 2 different ways. You could integrate through Sellbrite and plug everything into Sellbrite and use that to manage your orders and route whichever ones you prefer to Deliverr. You can also plug in channels directly to Deliverr for folks who may not know whether they want to get an integration tool yet, or maybe they're on only a few channels, 1 or 2. They'll sometimes experiment with just starting with Deliverr and direct orders directly from the channel, say Walmart or eBay or Shopify, directly into Deliverr. And then as they expand across more channels, they'll go pick up an integration tool to help manage across those multiple platforms.
Very nice. Now, as we are evaluating different 3PL service providers, it's a cost-benefit analysis, right? We're looking at what are we currently receiving from Amazon FBA, and what could we be receiving from a third-party logistics company. And so, in terms of pricing, what are all the costs involved in getting a unit to Deliverr warehouses and then out to the end user?
Yeah. So I think to answer this question, the main reasons people use Deliverr are the fast badging I mentioned to you prior. And then the second main reason is our transparent pricing. We're one of the only, or I believe we are the only logistics provider that lists their pricing publicly on our page, full price, pick, pack, label, everything, and the storage costs. In most websites you go to, you're going to have to schedule a meeting with someone, talk to them, negotiate a contract, you name it. We wanted to make it very much like Uber. You know what you're going to pay when you schedule that ride. And that's the big thing about our platform is you can go on deliverr.com right now, click on cost calculator. You can do one of 2 things. You can enter the weights and dimensions, or you can just copy the URL from your Amazon page, paste it in there, and we'll pull the weights and dimensions off of it, and we'll give you all the rates. And that rate you see, we get this question a lot. Does that include everything? Yes, it includes the label. It includes everything. And I think people will be very pleased when you see what the rate is when you go in there. We put a lot of focus on our pricing by having a large data science team that we've invested in to make sure we're getting the lowest possible rate across multiple carriers, and we're positioning product in the correct places to get you those best rates. And we pass that all along to the merchant.
Yeah, I like that transparent pricing. And for all the listeners, I would encourage you, as David and I did a lot of research on 3PLs, Deliverr was the only one that I found where you could go in and put your ASINs in, and it would tell you the pricing straight out. And that was a really, really nice feature. I really like that. So, Michael, a couple of things that come to mind. You mentioned the what you called it, the fast badge, like the 2-day badge.
Yeah.
So let's dig a little deeper in that. So one of the things that David and I, and probably a lot of e-commerce sellers moving on to, Amazon's had a hiccup in terms of the pandemic. They couldn't fulfill orders. That if you did not have, essential products, you didn't get a 2-day badge. You didn't get shipped at all. So with Deliverr, let's say you go on to Walmart, or what are the platforms that you're integrated in with that you can offer that fast badge? Because I think that's huge.
Yeah, that's a great point. So the main ones people are using us for are Walmart, eBay, and our own that we created, which is our Shopify 2-day, which also gets you next day to 40% of the country at no additional cost. I'll touch on that one in a second, but the Walmart one is a really important one because we have a great relationship with Walmart. They've done a fabulous job expanding their marketplace over the last several years, and we communicate directly with them. And we actually have our own Walmart application. If you aren't on Walmart, you can go to deliverr.com/Walmart, apply, and it goes to the Walmart team. And we try to help streamline merchants that way as well. So they can also take advantage of Walmart. They can take advantage of the 2-day tag as well. And so when you're using Deliverr, You get that badge. We actually control that badge through where your inventory is placed. So whether you're integrated with Sellbrite or whether you're integrated directly, we're actually the ones controlling that badging, where it's shown, when it's shown, and we're charging you one fixed cost. Like I mentioned, eBay, and then Shopify is a big one. We also have Wish. We are the only provider of Wish 2-day right now. Right now, Wish has Wish Express, which is 11, 14 days, which is not really that fast. But you can do Wish 2-day via Deliverr, and that's offered exclusively through Deliverr right now. And we are looking at other platforms as well right now. So one of the more recent productions was we can, if you're advertising on Facebook or you're advertising on Instagram or you're advertising on Google and you're advertising your Shopify store, we can funnel a badge onto your ads as well, which helps with conversion. And so for anyone who's really trying to get their store off the ground in addition to their Amazon store, and that actually offers some great conversion. We've seen a reduction of about 50% in cost per acquisition. We had some merchants spending $5,000-$10,000 a day on ads for their Shopify store, and they were getting 40-50% more purchases just by offering 2-day and next day on their own store. So that's another area of opportunity for offering fast shipping badges, because as we know, the Prime badge is kind of the cream of the crop, and people purchase off of that, right? Whether you have that badge or not.
Yeah. So I want to go back a little bit and explore that. So you're saying the Deliverr's got an integration with Shopify to offer a 2-day badge, and the case study increased conversions by 40 or 50%?
Yeah, so we've essentially, whether you judge your conversion on ads by ROAS or CPA, we've seen about as much as a 50% decrease in CPA. And then obviously return on ad spend, we've seen that jump almost sometimes 2x in some cases, depending on the product. And the only difference here is we're not getting people to spend more on their ads. We're actually just saying, hey, use Deliverr to fulfill. You can connect to your Facebook account via Deliverr. And then we are going to control, when your ads are shown on Instagram or Facebook, we're going to control which creative or which ad is shown. So in some zip codes, we'll show next day. For example, I'm here in California. Most of the West Coast is covered in next day. So when I see one of our merchants on Facebook or Instagram, it'll say next day delivery, not shipping, delivery in your area if you click on this ad and purchase through their Shopify store.
Wow. No, that's huge. That's the first time I've heard of that.
I can't tell you the number of reviews that I've got that have nothing to do with my product, but they comment on fulfillment. They'll say, showed up in 2 days. And that was really early Amazon, but little do they know that has very little to do with me as the business owner and its excellent fulfillment. And so that's awesome. It just enhances the customer experience, and really excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Michael, does the R&D team, are you guys looking into adding WooCommerce in the future?
We are, actually. That is on our roadmap. We're testing out some stuff on BigCommerce right now. WooCommerce is next. We have a lot of things in the works with regards to direct channel integrations. Typically what happens is the channel comes first and then our badge iteration comes next. That's how it's typically always happened, right? How do we funnel a fast badge on this specific channel? And if they don't have it, how can we go ahead and create it, right? And that's typically kind of been our process for the last few channels.
Okay, nice. One more thing on the 2-day before we move on. I know this is kind of a sore spot on a lot, but the Amazon FBA, the Seller Fulfilled Prime. So let's say a merchant signs on with Deliverr, and they want to offer the Seller Fulfilled Prime badge on Amazon. Do you guys have that enabled? Can you guys fulfill that, or?
Yeah, that's a great question. Unfortunately, we do not. We did have a program for it. When the Amazon waitlisted folks, there was just not enough demand. There's definitely demand for people to get Seller Fulfilled Prime. But if you can't get approved by Amazon, then you can't, we can't fulfill it. So we would have loved to support that program. From the sounds of it, it sounds like Amazon set the bar so high that pretty much most merchants can't fulfill it as of February, right?
Yeah.
We would definitely invest if it were an open program, but From the looks of it, that wait list page is still up for seller fulfilled Prime. So we get that request a lot. It's really not something that we wouldn't want to fulfill. It's whether or not there's enough demand and enough merchants who are approved by Amazon to go ahead and get that.
Yeah, I think, I don't know about you, David, but whenever I've looked a few times in the last 6 months, and that seller fulfilled Prime, like the sign up, I can't even find the page anymore. So I don't think Amazon's playing nice with seller fulfilled Prime anymore.
Yeah, from what I've heard, it sounds like, a lot of merchants weren't able to really even meet that criteria. And then you take into consideration they're raising the criteria. So, I mean, I heard a rumor that, and this is all hearsay, but I heard a rumor that it was like only maybe 1 or 2 merchants in the entire country can fit the bill for what they want in February. So.
So one thing that we learned when we were researching 3PL companies was that size matters, and where you are geographically across the country is important. And so where are your fulfillment centers located?
Yeah. So we partner with our fulfillment centers. We have 45 plus locations across the country. And it's probably in no way, shape, or form any different than how FBA positions it, right? Because you initially position based off population density. So you got a lot along the western California coast, LA, down into Dallas, Georgia, and all the way up the eastern seaboard, right? Pennsylvania and New Jersey, and you name it. And so that's kind of the initial route, just due to population density. But we do have 45 plus locations spread out across, I'd say it's 15 plus states right now in the country. So.
Okay. And so if I were to send in inventory, how many warehouses would I be, if I had one large order, how many different warehouses would that be sent to?
Yeah. So all our products are in at least 4 warehouses. And that's whether or not you choose to use our forwarding option, where we forward it into those from a cross dock, or whether you send it directly into those 4 or more. The more factor on that is really determined by your velocity of your SKU. So let's say, for example, you have an item that does 1,000 a day, 1,500 a day, and you're sending in 30,000 units. It may get spaced out into about 8 or 10 different warehouses, a max of 10. But in most cases, for most merchants, they're doing, if they have multiple SKUs, and it's usually in 4 or 5 warehouses across the country.
Now, Michael, as I was researching the 3PLs, I noticed shipping zones. There was like 5 zones. I know you guys offer, 2-day, so the zones might not matter, but can you speak to the shipping zones and how those impact 3PLs?
Yeah, I mean, in most cases, when you're working with a traditional 3PL, they're going to have shipping zones, and that's going to determine the price of based off where your item's located, what you're going to pay. The Deliverr model is different in a sense that we charge one fixed cost nationwide. So we don't utilize shipping zones. What we do have that are similar coverage zones, and coverage is based off of your replenishment. So hypothetically, if you sent in product to 4 or 5 warehouses, but you didn't replenish when one warehouse needed it, you may lose coverage in that area. That doesn't mean we can't fulfill it on standard order, but it may mean that your Walmart 2-day tag may not show in that specific region. And so you're paying a standard price for that. And the buyer is therefore only seeing standard. They're not seeing the 2-day. So you're not getting as much of the lift as well. It should note, though, we do try to mitigate that happening by, when you initially inbound, your items are not spaced out evenly across every warehouse. And that's done intentionally to mitigate having one warehouse run out much sooner than another warehouse.
When we were researching Deliverr, one thing that we noticed was that you guys do not process returns. And just a little background here, both Ken and I are probably on a first name basis with our UPS guy, because he shows up every single day with returns. And I'll tell you what, taking those returns, repackaging them, and sending them back to the warehouses, it just takes time, and it's something I don't like to do. And so knowing that you guys don't handle returns, what are some of your higher volume customers doing to address this?
Yeah, that's a great question. And a side note, our plan was to have returns out by this point of this year. That plan was made pre-COVID. So with COVID, it became Black Friday every day. And then a bigger priority was how do you expand and still have next day and 2-day delivery when everyone's doing 3 to 5 to 10x the volume. So we will have returns at one point. What are our larger customers doing? It's interesting. We have some, the SKUs that tend to have the most returns are things like clothing or shoes. And we do have some large merchants that do have those items. And a lot of them are sent directly. They actually have a location where they send it to, and they like to inspect it themselves. When we do get returns, it's both a way in which we can, on the UI end, where we can make sure we update it and merchant can sign off on it and labels can get printed, but also just the operational side of inspecting it to the merchant standards and making sure it's resellable. And so a lot of our warehouses do handle returns, not the ones, let me be clear, our warehouses handle them for other clients. They don't, for Deliverr, we don't enable returns yet. And so it won't be too much of a difficult shift when we do allow it, but most of our merchants, to answer your questions, that want returns or have returns, they're having it being sent to either their location or a neutral warehouse where they tend to send their inventory in and they package it and then it goes out to FBA and goes out to Deliverr. That tends to be the more common case with folks who want to handle returns. Also with Walmart, you can return in store, so sometimes people are okay with that end on the marketplace side. On the Shopify side, it really kind of depends on the merchant and what kind of operation they have set up.
So Michael, so now let's just say we got our Shopify store and we're selling tennis shoes, right? We get an order that comes in at 12 o'clock Central Time, pair of tennis shoes. What is the Deliverr's SLA for shipping that out to the customers? Is it 2 hours? Is it 24?
Yeah. If it comes in at 10 a.m., our SLA right now is 2 p.m. Eastern. So depending on where that's at, either way, that would make the cutoff. That would get sent out that day. And you would, get the tracking info submitted by end of day into the account on Shopify. The buyer would see that tracking info. And if that were on a 2-day order and that was placed, on a Wednesday, that would make it there on a Friday.
Okay, that's straightforward. So if it came in at 2 p.m. Eastern time, any orders before that, they're out the door that day. Tracking is sent to Shopify backend. What if an order comes in at 3 p.m.? Is it shipped out first thing in the morning and tracking is sent overnight, or?
Yeah, shipped out first thing in the morning. Tracking info will get likely added when the package leaves. So it will not get sent out that same day, but it will get ingested into it. It'll get marked as fulfilled in Shopify, and then we'll add the tracking info to it as well by that day that it gets sent out. Our SLA doesn't include weekends. Having said that, it's funny, I actually just ordered something on Walmart from us right now. And even though it said that it would make it here by Tuesday, I ordered this yesterday, actually. It said it would make it here by Tuesday. The FedEx just sent me, it said Saturday. So even though we don't do it we don't guarantee over the weekends, it'll be set up as if 2 days on a Thursday would be on a Monday or a Tuesday of the following week. But we do notice a lot of times our packages are making it there on a Saturday or Sunday.
A lot of our listeners are selling on Amazon FBA, and one common gripe of theirs is in Q4, storage fees tend to go up by about a factor of 4. Do you guys have any changes in storage fees in Q4?
Yeah, it's funny. They're not gonna like this then because we match Amazon. We are 72 cents per cubic square foot off peak. They're 75, but we are the same on peak. So yeah, we get that a lot. No one likes the high storage costs during that time. We don't have any SKU limit. We don't have any limits though. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, we do have the same storage as Amazon. So
the no storage limits is, I tell you, as of recently, has caused major issues with my inventory, and I know Ken has had the same. Where when you're ordering 5,000 units from China, and you can only send in 200, it creates issues.
Yeah, we're seeing that a lot across a lot of merchants coming in looking for even just a storage option that can send into Amazon, which we can't do as well. So we are last mile. You can't send inventory between Deliverr to Amazon, Amazon to Deliverr. get marked non-compliant. And so there are a lot of people out there we notice are looking for that. We do have people we partner with, but naturally you would need to find some hub to send into FBA or Deliverr if you couldn't use us as an intermediary between FBA.
Nice. Now, Michael, you touched on Walmart earlier, in that you had a partnership with Walmart. Let's say, someone that's listening to this, they're thinking about going into Walmart. Do you guys now? Is it beneficial for someone to sign up for a Walmart account through Deliverr? Is it like a special relationship, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, they can sign up either way, through Walmart or through the Deliverr one. We tend to try to have a little bit more visibility on the one going through Deliverr, but at the end of the day, applying, if they reach out to Deliverr and ask us, we can try to do our best to see where it's at on Walmart's end. We don't have any influence of like getting it through, certain things that Walmart may require, because there are certain requirements, tax ID number, being a US seller, things like that on Amazon doesn't have as many restrictions on. And so, we don't have any way of circumnavigating that. But if you did submit an application and you reached out to our live chat functionality, or any person on Deliverr.com, you can book a meeting with anyone. You can actually tell them that you applied, and we can try to do our best to help streamline. We're trying to do whatever we can right now. We also know Walmart's seeing a very high volume of applicants right now. And so if anyone's considering applying and they're kind of kicking the can down the road to see how October plays out, my recommendation would be apply today. At least you get your application in, and then you can decide whether or not you use it later on in October when you're approved.
Nice. So, okay, that sounds good. So no bat phone, but you guys can check the status on it.
Yeah, no bat phone to circumnavigate. We try to do our best here. I think if they fit the criteria of the products, they have a tax ID, they're in the US, it should get approved, and we can help push it as much as we can. We do get sometimes a lot of Amazon merchants who are international or don't even meet the criteria, asking us for a bat phone, and unfortunately can't do anything there. So
nice.
Very nice. Now, what about international shipping?
Yeah, that was also something we piloted in January. And then once COVID hit, we said, all right, let's put this on the shelf right now and let's focus on the priorities. So we will have international shipping. We don't do it now. Funny story about international, we tried to take our same model, and we're trying to find a way where you can have a fixed price internationally. Clearly, that's impossible if you match up a package to Canada versus a package to Somalia. It doesn't make financial sense there. So, I think there's some iterations there. I think that'll be something next year you'll see from us, since we already started it. But I think it's, given the current climate, we want to make sure our priority is the domestic market.
All right, Michael, I am sad to admit that this was on my to-do list for probably 3 or 4 months. And for some reason, it just seemed so daunting, finding a 3PL, getting signed up. And so once someone finds Deliverr and they decide that they want to move forward with using you as the third-party logistics company, what steps does it take to get signed up?
Yeah. So I mentioned at the beginning, one of the main reasons people use this is our fast tag badging. The second main reason, our transparent pricing listed on our site. The third reason is our hassle-free setup. Unlike any other fulfillment company, you can go on to Deliverr. You don't have to talk to anyone. Take 2 minutes, create an account, integrate, create a shipping plan, send it in, get it received. So that whole process can happen very quickly, and you don't need to talk to anyone to even do that. Having said that, there are resources on the site, both in live chat and booking a time on our main page. It says, let's chat. You can book a time right away with someone if you want to review that with any fulfillment specialist. So I think getting set up is a very big positive, especially for folks who are looking to move quickly. They can do it very quickly with Deliverr. And I think it's really important to note, you can use as little as you want or as much as you want. There's no minimums on Deliverr. The minimum amount you have to send in is 1 unit. So we don't require any kind of minimums that most traditional 3PLs require.
Nice. That's good. Excellent. So Michael, as your team onboards clients, a lot of them, what is the main question that clients forget to ask or don't know what to ask Deliverr whenever they're vetting a 3PL?
Yeah, I think we get a lot of merchants from Amazon, and I think if you've only used FBA, one of the questions that a lot of folks forget to ask is around support and how that's handled with regards to cancellations from the buyer's end and things like that. FBA has made it really easy for a lot of merchants to not have to worry about that, right? Someone cancels, FBA gets notified, everything gets handled there. When you're using a 3PL, whether that be Deliverr or anyone else, that onus is on you, the merchant, to make sure that that gets canceled with your 3PL and to make sure that that type of support happens. And so I think it's really important that when you're going outside of Amazon, I'll use it specifically for that subset of people, that you understand that's something that you'll have to factor in. And so asking questions around to any 3PL, whether that's Deliverr or a 3PL, how do you guys handle the support stuff, and how do you go ahead and handle whether someone cancels like last minute? And when that comes to fast shipping, fast delivery like Deliverr, that's really important because we send it out right away, and if there can't be this lag behind, us sending it out and you deciding to cancel the order when it's already at the doorstep.
Nice. No, that's crucial. Excellent. Now, Michael, to wrap up the show, we have a lightning round, and David and I ask all of our guests.
All right.
Are you ready for the lightning round?
All right, let's go. I love lightning rounds. Let's hear it.
All right. What is your favorite book?
I'm reading this one right now that's actually pretty solid. I think relevant for the time. It's called Factfulness. I forget who the author is, but it really puts, if you're feeling like things are kind of gloomy out in the world it's a great book to read, and it's all based on facts. Highly recommend.
Okay, excellent. I haven't heard of that one. Nice. What are some of your hobbies?
I enjoy hiking, mountain biking, huge football fan, 49ers. So those are probably my three big things: hiking here in the Oakland Hills, mountain biking, and watching football.
Nice. Yeah. So how has been watching football this year compared to past?
Oh man. It's interesting. I usually go to most of the games here in the Bay Area, but man, it's football is a TV sport, right? So I think they've probably done the best job out of any professional sports team in terms of making it still feel like you're not watching it in a bubble and there's no fans, right? So.
Yeah. It's different, and they're trying. It's good to see it in motion. I like it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, the last one in the lightning round. What do you think sets apart successful e-commerce entrepreneurs from those who give up, fail, or never get started?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's actually one of our values, and I think we all try to embody it. And I would have never said this 2 years ago. Because I didn't think much of it, but it's being really curious. I think the entrepreneurs that I've seen that work for our company, that co-founded our company, and also the people that work here, everyone's really curious around every little thing that's happening. And it makes it so you're not just looking for the result just to get a result. That's how our mind is trained. Like, what's the answer? Just give me the answer. And I think over here, and what I've seen with a lot of successful entrepreneurs, they're really curious around all the little details to make something successful, and they understand the why behind it. So I'd say being very, very curious is one of the best tips I'd give there.
Nice. I like that.
Very nice. Well, Michael, we really appreciate your time this afternoon. Where can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can go ahead and email me, msene at deliverr.com. You can add me on LinkedIn as well. So yeah, there's multiple ways. If you go to deliverr.com and you talk to the live chat, just tell them you want to talk to me. I'll hop on.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Appreciate it, Michael.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks.